Hey everybody, welcome to Read With Me, Vincent. My name is Vincent, and I am a Vietnamese Chinese American man. I was migrated to the US back in 1998, and I always struggled with pronunciation and very shy when I speak English with other people. So I always want to improve my pronunciation sounds more like an American. And I have taken some accent classes back in the past, and I got pretty good lessons from that course. So I want to start a Read With Me series. I'm currently reading 12 Rules of Life by Peterson. I personally like him, and I have bought 3 of his books, Map of Meanings and 12 Rules for Life, and the other latest one, I don't remember the title. So I am going to continue to read. This series would help me go back to reading regularly, and I want to try at least read 2 pages a day. And I want to take you guys with me. The goal of this series, find a word that I have a hard time saying and pronouncing, and I want to get better at that word. This is a pretty challenging book, and there's some vocabulary in there that I don't say often, and I have a hard time pronouncing it. So that's one of the goals. Another goal is reading comprehensions and able to summarize what I read and recall information. And I want to do at least those 2 things consistently. And I would want to do it daily, and I think it's achievable, reading 2 pages a day. I don't think it takes more than 10 minutes. So I think I can find 10 minutes a day to do this. And here we go. I'm currently at page 233 if you guys want to read along. And this is chapter 9. Assume that the person you are listening to might know something you don't. Not advice. Psychotherapy is not advice. Advice is what you get when the person you're talking with about something horrible and complicated wishes you would just shut up and go away. Advice is what you get when the person you are talking to wants to reveal in the superiority of his or her own intelligence. If you weren't so stupid, after all, you wouldn't have your stupid problems. Psychotherapy is genuine conversation. Genuine conversation is exploration, articulation, and strategizing. When you're involved in a genuine conversation, you're listening and talking, but mostly listening. Listening is paying attention. It's amazing what people will tell you, what's wrong with them. Sometimes they will even tell you how they plan to fix it. Sometimes that helps you fix something wrong with yourself. One surprising time, and this is only one occasion of when such things happen, I was listening to someone very carefully, and she told me within minutes, A, that she was a witch, and B, that her witch coven spent lots of its time visualizing world peace together. She was a long-time lower-level functionary in some bureaucratic job. I would never have guessed she's a witch. I also didn't know that witch covens spend any of their time visualizing world peace. I didn't know what to make of any of it either, but it wasn't boring, and that's something. In my clinical practice, I talk and listened. I talk more to some people and listen more to others. Many of the people I listened to have no one else to talk to. Some of them are truly alone in the world. There are far more people like that than you think. You don't meet them because they are alone. Others are surrounded by tyrants or narcissists or drunks or traumatized people or professional victims. Some are not good at articulating themselves. They go off on a tyrant. They repeat themselves. They say vague and contradictory things. They're hard to listen to. Others have terrible things happening around them. They have parents with amnesia, Alzheimer's, or sick children. There's not much time left over for their personal concerns. One time, a client who had been seeing for a few months came into my office. And there's a star on top of office and at the bottom that says, "Here again, I have disguised many of the details of this case to maintain privacy of those involved while attempting to maintain the central meaning of the events." Okay, so continue on. For her scheduled appointment, and there's some brief preliminaries, she announced, "I think I was raped." It is not easy to know how to respond to a statement like that, although there's frequently some mysterious around such events. Alcohol can cause ambiguity ambiguity. That's partly why people drink. Alcohol temporarily lifts the terrible burden of self-consciousness from people. Drunk people know about the future. They don't care about it. That's exciting. That's exhilarating. Drunk people can party like there's no tomorrow. But because there's a tomorrow, most of the time, drunk people also get in trouble. They blacked out. They go to dangerous places with careless people. They have fun because they also get raped. Yeesh. So I immediately thought something like that may be involved. How else to understand? I think. But that wasn't the end of the story. She added to an extra detail 5 times. The first sentence was awful enough, but the second produced something unfathomable. 5 times. What could that possibly mean? My client told me that she would go to a bar and have a few drinks. Someone would start to talk with her. she would end up at his place or her place with him. The evening would proceed inevitably, inevitably, but its sexual climax. The next day she would wake up, uncertain about what happened, uncertain about her motive, uncertain about his motive, and uncertain about the world. Miss S. will call her, was vague to the point of non-existent. She was a ghost of a person. She dressed, however, like a professional. She knew how to present herself for first appearances. In consequences, she had finagled FINAGLED, not sure how to say that word. Her way into a government historical board, on a government advisory board considering the construction of a major piece of transportation infrastructure, even though she knew nothing about government advising or construction. She had hosted a local public access radio show dedicated to small business, even though she had never held a real job and knew nothing about being an entrepreneur. She had been receiving welfare payments for entirely of her adulthood. Her parents had never provided her with a minimum of attention. She had 4 brothers, and they were not at all good to her. She had no friends now and none in the past. She had no partner, she had no one to talk to, and she didn't know how to think on her own. That's not rare. She had no self. She was indeed a walking cacophony, 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 not sure how to say that word, of unintegrated experiences. I had tried previously to help her find a job. I asked her if she had a CV. She said yes. I asked her to bring it to me. She brought it to a next session. It was 50 pages long. It was in a file folder box, divided into sections with Malimo tag separators, the ones with the title color for index markers on the sides. The sections included such topics as my dreams and book I have read. She had written down dozens of her nighttime dreams in the My Dreams section. Was provided brief summaries and reviews of her reading material. This was what she proposed to send to prospective employer, or perhaps already had. Who really knew? It is impossible to understand how much someone has to be no one at all to exist in a world where a file folder box containing 50 indexed pages listing dreams and novels constitutions a CV. Miss S knew nothing about herself. She knew nothing about other individuals. She knew nothing about the world. She was a movie played out of focus, and she was desperately waiting for a story about herself to make it all make sense. Okay, so that's conclude, a little bit more than 2 pages. So probably 2, almost 3. So this video about 15 minutes. I think I can shorten it down or read a bit faster. I did took my time. I think it's better when I take my time, read through it and try to comprehend this. Most of the time when I read out loud, I have a hard time retaining information, but I think I did pretty well. So what I got from the last 2 pages that I read was it's very important to know yourself and to be able to articulate yourself, expressing yourself to the world. You know, for example, Miss S here, she don't have enough life experience to know what constitutes a CV. My CV, my resume, it's pretty short, probably less than 2 pages long. Yeah, I think most people know this. Just list what's relevant to the position you apply for. I know most people have one generic CV and just send that. I've done that in my past. Anyway, the point is really know yourself and being able to articulate, present yourself to the world. And I think that can bring a lot more, get more out of life, is what I'm saying. So that's it. Thank you for reading with me today, and hopefully we can do this more often. See you, everybody.